truckers see more of the road than anyone else, but sometimes what they see can't be explained. Late-night gas stations, empty highways, strangers who shouldn't be there. These aren't just road stories. They're survival stories. Tonight, you'll hear 3 terrifying true trucker horror stories. Moments that prove the most dangerous thing on the road isn't always another driver. It's what's waiting in the dark. I've been an OTR driver for about 4 years now. Before that, I was a nurse. I left the hospital world behind after burnout took its toll. Now it's just me, my rig, and the road. Nights are quieter, and you don't deal with as many people. That's the part one like. This happened during a run across Missouri. Highway 36. If you know it, you know how empty it gets in the middle of the night. Just stretches of dark. Nothing between small town exits. I pulled off around 2 a.m. to fill up in a bathroom break. I hadn't seen another car in miles, and I was getting tired. The gas station was technically open, lights on, pumps working, but the storefront itself looked closed. The building had those flickering fluorescent lights outside, the kind that hum and attract every moth in the county. One working pump. The others had trash bags over the handles. I left the engine running while I filled up. My usual routine. There wasn't a single other truck in the lot. I was halfway through filling up when I noticed movement in my peripheral vision. A woman was walking toward me from the far end of the station near the dumpster. I didn't hear her come up. No footsteps, no car door, nothing. Just there she was. She looked to be in her late 20s, pale, shoulder-length black hair. You could tell right away. It was greasy, limp, and untouched by a brush. She had on a gray hoodie and loose jeans, both a little too big for her. No purse, no phone. She stopped about 6 feet away and just looked at me. She didn't blink, didn't move, just stared. I figured maybe she needed help. So I said, "Hey, you okay?" She didn't answer. I watched her for a second. Her face was expressionless, not scared, not angry, just blank. After a pause that felt way too long, she said, "Is it safe?" I asked, "What do you mean?" She didn't clarify, just stared. Still no blinking. I tried again. "Are you hurt or something?" Another long pause. Then she took one small step closer. Something about the way she moved was wrong. Not quite robotic, but off. I stopped pumping and reached up to shut the fuel cap. My brain hadn't hit panic mode, but my body was getting there. I've seen people high, scared, even hallucinating. This didn't feel like any of those. "Do you have a ride?" I asked. She tilted her head slightly, like a curious dog. Didn't answer. Then another step closer, 4 feet away now. That's when I got a better look at her eyes. Wide open, watery, but still not blinking. I tried to subtly angle myself back toward the cab door without making it obvious. She said almost in a whisper, "You shouldn't be alone." I didn't respond, just reached for the handle and opened the door. That's when she lunged forward. A sudden two-step, like she was trying to close the gap fast. I yanked myself up into the seat and slammed the door shut. As I hit the lock, I looked toward the pumps. And then I saw them. 2 men standing still near the side of the station, partially hidden in the shadows. One had on a ball cap, the other a hoodie like hers. Both had their arms at their sides. No movement, no talking, just watching. My hands went straight to the gear shift. I didn't even wait to check the nozzle. Thankfully, I'd already taken it out. The woman didn't follow me around the front. She just turned slowly like she was going to circle toward the driver's side. I didn't let her get that far. I threw into drive and punched the gas. My tires screeched a little on the pavement, but I didn't care. I cut a wide arc to avoid the woman, the pumps, the men. The trailer fishtailed slightly, but didn't lose traction. As I cleared the lot, I looked once in the side mirror. She was standing in the exact same spot, not looking at the truck, looking straight into the mirror at me, still not blinking. I made another 20 miles before I pulled over at a truck stop with real lights and other rigs. I parked as close as I could to the main entrance and just sat there for a while. I kept checking the mirrors like she might have somehow followed me. I didn't bother calling the cops. Try explaining bad vibes to a dispatcher. I mean, what do you say? Help. She looked at me weird. But I never stopped at that station again. And now, every time I pull off the highway late at night, I scan the lot first. I make sure I'm not the only one there because whatever was going to happen at that gas station, it wasn't random. It was a setup, and I think she wanted me to trust her first. This happened back in the summer of 2021. I was doing an overnight run from Wichita down to Amarillo. Nothing special, just freight, loaded and rolling steady. That stretch of road, especially after midnight, gets real quiet. Not peaceful, just heavy. I've done it 100 times before. Nothing but tires on asphalt, the occasional rig going by, and the crackle of a half-lost radio signal. I was in my 17th year on the road, divorced, kids grown enough not to need much more than a text check-in. Driving kept me sane, or at least busy. That night, I had a thermos of coffee, half a pack of gum, and the CB chatter was low. Typical. Just west of Enid, the road starts stretching out into long, open pieces. No real towns, just gas stations and the occasional cattle truck pulling off. I kept my eyes ahead, both mirrors clean. Everything felt normal at first. Somewhere past the state line, I noticed it. A shape behind me. Way back at first, too far to make out. I caught it in the top corner of my left mirror. Looked like a car. Maybe a compact. No lights on. I didn't think much of it. Some folks drive stupid late at night. Maybe a headlight was out. Maybe they were trying to conserve battery. Who knows? But as the miles rolled on, the shape stayed there. No headlights. No passing, just far enough to barely see. When I changed lanes, it did too. Same pace, same distance, like we were tethered together. I eased up a bit on the pedal, dropped 5 miles an hour. The shape dropped too. That's when I got uneasy. There's a difference between coincidence and tracking. This wasn't someone just cruising behind me. This felt tuned like they were keyed in on me. I toggled the CB to see if anyone nearby had eyes on it. Got nothing but silence. I tapped my brakes just quick, testing if they'd react. In the mirror, I saw the faint glint of movement. They did. They matched me again. I thought maybe it was another trucker messing around, but there were no marker lights, no clearance lights. And truckers don't usually do silent tailgating. After a while, it started getting to me, that creeping sense of someone playing a game but not letting you in on the rules. Every exit I passed, I considered pulling off, but each one was just a gas station with a single pump, maybe a soda machine. Not the kind of place you want to stop if you got a problem. So I kept going. Finally, just past the Oklahoma-Texas border, I saw a decent-sized rest stop, lit up. A couple of rigs already there, vending machines, even a security camera pole. I didn't signal, just swerved in fast, trying to break the pattern. Pulled through the front row, parked by the trash cans. I threw in neutral, kept the engine running, checked the mirror. No car. Nothing followed me in. I exhaled for the first time in an hour. Maybe I'd imagined the whole thing. Maybe I was just tired. I hopped down, stretched, cracked my back, walked around the cab doing the usual checks. Tires, straps. It felt good to move. But then I noticed something. 3 spaces down near the darker edge of the lot sat a car. A small sedan. Lights off. No one inside. I stared at it for a good 30 seconds. The hood had that shimmer, that heat ripple that only happens when an engine's been running, but the windshield was empty. Driver's seat was pushed far back, like whoever had been it was tall. But no glow from phone, just nothing. And I swear I hadn't seen it when I pulled in. I would have noticed. I backed away slowly, keeping my eyes on it. Climbed back into the cab, locked both doors, and pulled the curtain behind the seat. Didn't sleep. Didn't even shut off the engine. Just sat in the dark sipping coffee and watching the mirrors. Every hour or so, a rig would roll in or out. Nobody touched that car. It stayed exactly where it was until around 5 a.m. I saw movement. Just a blur, and the car was gone. No startup noise, no lights coming on, just vanished down the road. I waited another full hour before moving. When I finally pulled out, I looped the lot once. Checked every corner. No sign of it. Told myself it was just someone messing around. Maybe a tire driver. Maybe a prank. But I've seen pranks. This wasn't that. This was patience calculation. Whoever it was, they wanted me to know they were there. But not why. I started driving day routes after that. Fewer overnight runs. Kept an aluminum bat behind the seat. Not for animals, for peace of mind. But that feeling, the one where you're not alone, even when no one's talking, it sticks with you. That stretch of road used to be just asphalt. Now, every time I take it, I check my mirrors more than I look ahead. Some people think danger's loud, but I've been doing this job long enough to know. It's not the headlights that scare you. It's when there aren't any at all. I just finished loading a shipment at a depot outside San Diego. Auto parts, mostly brake drums and struts. Heavy stuff. The load was solid and the tie-downs were triple checked. It was the last drop of daylight, and I was aiming to push east and find a rest stop before midnight. The dispatcher had been late again, and I was already running 2 hours behind. One of the guys at the depot had joked on the way out, "Careful once you hit the desert stretch near Barstow. Weird stuff out there after dark." I gave him a thumbs up and kept it moving. Stuff like that doesn't faze me. I've been hauling long enough to hear every urban legend from every lonely diner counter between Portland and Laurel. Still, I don't ignore my rig. A few miles past Lucerne Valley, the tire pressure warning light blinked on. Rear driver's side axle. Could have been nothing. Could have been a slow leak. I didn't want to chance it. I pulled off onto a wide gravel turnout just before the road thinned to one lane each direction. No cars in sight. Nothing but scrub and red rock as far as you could look. I threw on the flashers and rolled the window down halfway to let some air in. The desert was still radiating heat off the asphalt, but the sky had already gone that deep red. I was just about to hop out and check the pressure when I spotted movement in the side mirror. A guy was walking toward me. Vest, gloves, baseball cap. Looked like he came out of nowhere. I stayed put. He waved like we were old friends. Saw the flashers. He said too cheerful. "Need a hand?" My window was still halfway down. "I'm good. Just checking the sensor." He came closer anyway. "I'm with roadside assistance. Some nights I do patrols through here." That didn't track. No ide, no van, no markings. He had a roll of tools on his hip and a rag in one hand like he was trying too hard to sell the look. He gestured my tire. "Mind popping out real quick? I could take a look. Get you back on the road faster." "No thanks," I said, calm but firm. He smiled again. "Too friendly now. You sure don't want to get stuck out here? Ain't a lot of help this way after dark." I already called it in. I lied. CHP's sending someone. There was a pause, then a nod, but his expression changed like whatever he was pretending to be wasn't holding up anymore. "You got someone on the way." "That's good," he said, stepping back. "Just trying to help." I watched him in the mirror as he walked back into the desert dusk. Not toward a car, just off into the brush. I didn't move. Then I started the engine and eased back onto the road. Hands tight on the wheel. Didn't punch it. Just drove like normal, but alert. The pressure light was still blinking. I didn't care. I'd make it to the next station and let someone I trusted check it. When I finally hit a proper truck stop, I pulled into the repair bay. Some young guy named Danny came out wiping his hands on a rag. "Tire sensor flagged a problem," I said. "Mind taking a quick look?" He crawled under the rig. Less than 5 minutes later, he came back around holding 3 lug nuts in his hand. "These were hanging by a thread," he said. "Someone loosened them. Probably hoping the wheel would come off once you picked up speed. That wasn't an accident." I didn't say anything, just nodded. Let the silence do the talking. Danny retightened everything, triple-checked the rest of the wheels, and gave me a number to call if I needed anything overnight. Back in the cab, I thought about something a friend once told me. Another woman trucker I met up in Oregon a few years back. She'd said, "If anyone shows up too fast after a breakdown, don't get out. Doesn't matter how nice they seem. There's no cavalry in this business. Only vultures who know where the weak spots are." I used to think she was being paranoid. Now I think I'm paranoid, too.
Out on the open road, danger doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's silent.
Sometimes it stares right at you, and sometimes it waits until you're alone. If you want more true horror stories just like these, make sure to subscribe to Nightling and click the bell so you'll never miss what's lurking in the dark. And tell me in the comments, which story haunted you the most tonight?